All right, and we're back. We're back. We're live Monday night, August the 24th, 7:13 p.m. It's a Real Sports Fan Podcast, Season 3, Episode 28. If you were on here before, I apologize. We had some technical difficulties, but we are back, and we are 100% ready to go. And I am very appreciative of the gentleman that I have with me right now, who is the founder of the Elite Track and Field, Mr. Robert Thomas is with me on the night. Rob, how you doing?
I'm fine. Glad to be here.
Man, I appreciate you being here. And like we were saying, kind of before, we went live, is that I appreciate you reaching out to me, because you opened up my eyes to the fact that it's a lot of great track and field athletes on the shore, and they don't necessarily get the recognition, that the basketball, the football, the baseball and stuff gets. So that's part of the reason that you're here. But the other reason is you're an awesome man also in the community, and you have a great record as far as coaching and stuff like that. So I want to get into a lot of stuff with you. And again, man, I really appreciate you, being here and taking some time out. I know you're at work right now, so I appreciate you taking the time out, and being on here tonight.
I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
No problem. And another thing that, I also try to do with this platform is, as my grandma, used to say, or still says, is to give people their flowers while you can still smell them. And that's
right.
Also something that I'm doing with you, because, like I say, you're well known in the community. Trust me, I do my research. So I've seen the impact you've had, with the athletes, with the students, with the kids, with the community. Man, you talked about some other things that how we know each other and ran each other in the community.
Right.
So, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So again, I appreciate you, being on here tonight for sure. So, and share this video, y'all. Make sure you set up your watch parties, tag people, let them know we live. And in a few days, we'll also have this up on the YouTube page as well. But Robert, first, just tell me, a little bit about yourself for ones that don't know you, like myself, as far as, where you were born and just a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I actually was born in a little town called Ingleside, Maryland, outside of Churchill in Queen Anne's County. So I went my whole, school time at Queen Anne's County, through Sudlersville, then, on up to Centerville, for high school and everything. After, I graduated and stuff, I went into the military. So I spent 10 years, in the military, where, I met my wife. My wife's from Miami, Florida. Come January, I'm going on 29 years, of marriage.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome.
From there, I had 4 kids, actually 3 sons, and then my last one, was a daughter. Stayed in Miami for a while after we got out of the military, came back from the military, and we got back in this area here. We ended up locating in Caroline County. And once my oldest got into high school, that's when I actually started getting active in, the high school sports and everything. Then the coaching opportunity came up from there.
Oh, that's awesome. And one of the things you said, and you don't know this, you ain't because we're just meeting each other, but you say your wife's from Miami. I'm a big Miami Heat fan. That's
really?
my favorite basketball team, and we actually on right now. Go Heat, playing the Pacers Game 4. So I don't got my eye on that right now, but we should hopefully close them boys out tonight. Yeah. What before we get into more of your story, what sports do you watch right now? Are you big in basketball, football, anything like that?
I watch them all. I mean, like I say, I got 3 sons and a daughter who are all very athletic.
Oh, so they in it. Yeah, they in it. Yeah.
3 of my sons play football, basketball, and track. My daughter, she played volleyball, basketball, and track. So
awesome.
They've been on travel basketball teams, Pop Warner. So, I'm all around. My house is very competitive. My oldest son is actually a Miami Heat fan. So, I got.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. Well, see, I'm a Lakers fan. My oldest son is a Miami Heat fan.
Okay.
My youngest son, he a Celtics fan. So
okay.
we all around. So my house gets very loud. The one, football.
Oh yeah.
you know, because we all
Yeah,
got
that's
different
good.
football too. So, you know,
Yeah. That's good. That's good. My dad is actually it's funny, it's a lot of similarities with us because my dad actually also was in the military.
right,
He was stationed for a long time in California, so he ended up staying out in California.
right,
So obviously he's a Laker fan like
right,
you,
right,
and they play tonight. So I'm gonna make sure I
right.
get you off before 9.
Well,
Yeah, and then also I know you say your son, the other son's a Celtics fan. That's my prediction for the Eastern Conference Finals is the Celtics and the Heat. So we'll see how. So if that's the case, it'll be an interesting household as well. So
so
yeah.
you already caught Milwaukee out, huh?
This is the thing with Milwaukee is that I feel like we're the only team that can beat Milwaukee. I think that the way we match up with Milwaukee, we got Jimmy Butler, we got
Right, right,
Derek Jones, we got a lot of different pieces we can throw at him at Giannis to
right,
kind
right.
of tire him out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if we don't get them, I do think they'll beat either the Raptors or the Celtics. But I did pick the Lakers to win it all to make you
Okay.
happy. I did. Yeah.
Right, right.
Now, let me ask you this, since we're talking about the family and shout out to your beautiful family. If I'm not mistaken, and let me know if I'm wrong. I know you said your daughter played, was it volleyball, basketball?
Yeah, volleyball, basketball, she does track.
She did. Was she a 1,000-point scorer this past year?
Yeah, she actually got her 1,000 points this year. Yeah.
I thought so. Okay, I thought so. I wanted to make sure I was factual, but I thought I seen that. So congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment. I know a lot of people that went to North Carolina. I battled with Ron
Right.
Ringo, for years, and I know John Dawson. He's younger than me, but I know them, and a lot of guys from over there. Teray, I just went to his event over the weekend that day, which was great on Saturday. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Ray's actually my cousin, so we family and stuff,
Oh
So
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yep. So John and Ronald and all them, I've met them, since I started with Caroline County, with sports and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
John's father, Frank, Frank was
Uh-huh.
actually a big Frank and my dad. Frank worked for my dad for probably 20 plus years, so
Wow. Wow.
Frank was like an older brother to me, So Frankie actually
Yeah.
was the one who taught me how to ride a motorcycle and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how I,
That's what's up.
know Frank and stuff. Yep.
Man, small world. Yeah, I know Herbert, Big Herbert, Little Herbert. Man, that's small world. Like you said,
Yep.
small
Yep.
world. And I know you said you grew up right outside of. You said Churchill. You
Correct.
went to Queen Anne's right outside. My wife is born. She went to Queen Anne's. She graduated in 2000 from Queen Anne's, but she was born and raised in Star. She was born and
Okay.
raised. She was born and raised. Yeah.
Well, that's funny too, because actually my whole family's from Star. That's where my dad's side of the family is from, Star.
She's a baker. I
Okay,
know you
yeah,
know the Bakers. Queen Anne.
Teresa, no. Yeah, well, my family, like I said, they Thomases, so they grew up right beside, some lots
Yeah.
of family Star. Yeah.
Wow. See, look at that. Look at that. I know she's listening, and I had to make sure I tell her that. But yeah, like you said, small world. So I think we're familiar with each other now. So we're gonna go here forward and get into a little bit of your story and everything. And I appreciate you being with us. Talk a little bit about how you got involved in track and field. What was the first? What made you gravitate to track and field?
Yeah. So, sorry about that.
Oh, you're all right.
I got started with track. My oldest son, Robert Jr. He actually graduated in 2010. So when
Mm-hmm.
he started into school, and he was doing outdoor track, it was about 2008. I went out there, they were having practices and stuff like that. So the coach at the time was a gentleman named Glenn Whiteley. Glenn is a paid firefighter. So, of course, they do the 24-hour with shifts and everything. So when he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't working, his wife would fill in for him because he didn't have any other, coaches around to help him and everything.
Right.
So
Right.
that day I went out to the track, I just automatically started, working with, my son and some of the other kids, telling them to do stuff this way or try it this way and things like that. So she approached me and, we started talking and everything. And she was like, you should come back, tomorrow or the next day and talk to my husband. You know, so, you know, he's like, you ever thought about coaching? And I said, no, you know, not really. And she's like, well, it seems like you know, a little bit about what you're talking about, you know, stuff like that. You know, you should think about it. You know, so I came back and I talked to him and everything, and you know, that was, you know, the start from there. So
got you. That's awesome.
Outdoor track in 2008.
Awesome, 2008, and that's funny that you said, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I looked up that. So 2008 when you started. If I'm not mistaken, in 2010 you were the Bayside Coach of the Year. Am I right?
Correct. Yeah. Actually, 2009, we won our first regional title. So, so a year into me coaching, you know, I won the first, you know, title, which that was the first track title for, you know, North Carolina, you know, boys and everything. So, you know, from there, you know, just, you know, we've, you know, blessed to have, you know, a lot of success and everything. Now, you know, I talk about Glenn Whiteley. You know, Glenn is, man, he's an outstanding coach himself. I mean, he knows track and field inside and out. And, you know, at that time, he was still running, you know, competitively himself. You know, he was still going all over the country, you know, running and everything. So, you know, he kind of, you know, held my hand through that, being an athlete running to now coaching, you know. So, you know, working with him, you know, we just clicked right off the bat. You know, on paper, he was the girls' coach, I was the boys' coach, you know, but we ran everything, you know, together. And, you know, I would say, you know, maybe we should try this, or he would tell me, maybe you should try this. And, you know, it just, you know, we gelled, you know, it worked.
And that means a lot, because, you know, one, it's not everybody that you gel with, whether it's working, whether it's coaching, whether it's playing, you know. So that's good that you guys are able to work together. What would you say was, you know, because it sounds like you were a natural, and I'm sure your son had a lot to do with that too, being able to train him and see him. What would you say the hardest thing for you to learn on the track and field level, you know, would be?
Be truthful.
As far as training wise.
That is a different generation from when I was coming up.
I bet. Yeah.
I mean, we came up in, you know, when we were in school, you know, where coaches, you know, they you know, they were free to come at you how, you know, pretty much they wanted to come at you, you know, and, you know, I had to, you know, learn that these kids kind of wasn't, you know, built like that, you know, stuff like that. So you had to find different approaches to, you know, get a response, you know, out of them. And, you know, I kind of go back to, I think my time in the military, you know, actually helped me, because you brought people from all different places, and you had to get them to gel together, you know. And be on the same page. So I think, you know, that enabled me to, you know, reach the kids and stuff like that. So
And you know what? And that makes sense, because, you know, being in the military, I'm sure it helped you become an even better leader, because a lot of times some people are what you call natural born leaders, and then depending on, you know, what occupation they have or what they're doing, especially the military. My dad, he's telling me some of the stuff he was put through and stuff like that. So I'm sure that leadership, you know, you were able to exhibit that from that point also into, you know, the track and field. And, you know, with track and field, you know, I always joke with people. I said, you know, when I was coming up, when I was a kid, you know, in field day, we used to have one of the things in field day, we used to have the hurdles. You know, you jump over the hurdles and get. I said, oh yeah, I was good doing that. I said, but when you get to high school, it ain't them little plastic hurdles. It's a whole nother. You got to be able to run, go. So I know with track and field, you got running, you got jumping, and you got throwing. I guess my question is, how do you find out? Like, if I wanted to start, you know, if I was in high school, how would you help me determine if I should be a 4x4 or if I should be a 200 or hurdles? Like, how do you decide, you know, what's best for a kid? You know, I'm just, just curious.
Well, you know, and a track coach, like we were talking before we started, we don't have a feeder program. So we don't, it's not like, you know, we can go watch the kids doing Pop Warner football and kind of know what you got coming up. Or, you know, follow, you know, the middle school basketball team and stuff like that and know what you got coming up. You know, and so you don't get these kids till they in ninth grade. So you don't really have a lot of time to, you know, try them in this and try them in that, try them in that. So, you know, my wife always tells me, I'm gonna go to jail, you know, from being a stalker and stuff. But you know, what she means by that, you know, when my kids was young and we would go to the parks and stuff like that, I watch kids and I watch what they do, what they're doing normally. If you just tell kids go out there and play, you can see who your sprinters are. You can see who can jump. You can see who got, you know, good flexibility. You can see, you know, who can move right to left, you know, who, you know. So when we first start off with practice, we do different things. And, you know, I stand back and look, you know, I can look at somebody the way they stand and the way they walk and, you know, I might throw a ball at them and kind of see, you know, their reaction, you know, all that.
And
from there, you know, then we just start placing and a little bit of history because, like, if we got ones come in and say, oh, they got some experience, you know, with gymnastics, okay, you know, I know they're not gonna mind heights and being upside down.
Yeah.
So we, you know, they got strong upper body, so you know, we think about pole vault, you know, like again. High jump. A lot of high jump is basically a layup. You know, you're going off of one leg, you know, and you're jumping. That's pretty much that same J or that same approach that you use to do a layup is the same approach, you know, you can use to do high jump. So it's just things like that, you know, that we, as a track coach, you know, you got to set and you look and you just look at body mechanics and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And you like, okay, I can see this person, you know, doing this event. I can see this person doing that event, you know, and you got to go from there.
Got you. And I appreciate that rundown because one of the things you said, which is very, very true, is it's hard when you don't have a feeder program. And like you were saying, explain to everybody is that feeder program meaning, you know, you can't go to middle school and see these kids or elementary or any other outlets like you can basketball and football with Pee Wee football and stuff like that. So like you said, you're kind of watching these kids, I guess, kind of really like in other sports to see if they can possibly, you know, run track or if they just come to you and say, you know, I want to try out, you know, vice versa. And then on the flip part of that, you made a great point. I meant to say this earlier, is that coaching now is different than how it was. And look, I'm gonna put me with you when I say when we were playing, and I'm only 35, but I say we because I grew up with coaches that, and for everybody listening live, I'm not saying that your kids should get cussed out. Okay, I want to make sure I make that clear. But I had coaches that would curse me out, and that was fine. You know, I mean, you know, it wasn't, you know, and I say it wasn't disrespectful. Some people are like, well, what you mean not disrespectful? They had a conversation with my mom. My mom said, hey, whatever you need to do to get his butt more mature, and trust me, I needed it. I can only speak for myself. I needed it. But to your point, you kind of do got to kind of, you know, watch more what you say in these times that we're in and stuff like that. So, you know, is that kind of also kind of what you mean as far as the generations are different?
Right, you know, definitely. I mean, again, you know, I'm going to use the same thing you did. I'm not putting out there that it's good to be cussed or hands be put on you and stuff like that. But, you know, when we were coming up, I guess you could say the quote hazing wasn't a big thing. You had to earn your stripes with your teammates as well as, you know, with your coaches, you know, so you got tough real quick, you know. These kids now, and again, you know, I'm not a fan of everybody gets a trophy. You know, I think that
me either.
You know, that's killing these that's killing athletics because, you know, these kids come and think that they already know it all or are
Mm-hmm.
superstars, so, when you come at them, you come to an impasse real quick, because they trying to buck
Yeah.
up and tell them that you not what you think you are. And,
Good point.
you just gotta, and a lot of times is, you got to set the military, mindset. They had to tear you down before they can build you back up. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you almost got to let them fail and
Mm-hmm.
get beat before you can say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, now are you ready to listen to
Mm-hmm. Now you
me?
ready to listen.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right, right. You know.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Now that's a great point. I can see, how that can be. And you made another point where I didn't look, and I wish I looked at this, like even thinking back to when I was in high school, because you were talking about how the high jump is kind of just like a layup, and then obviously, I've seen the long jump and different things like that. But even for the cardio piece of it, like even for getting ready for other sports and stuff like that, can you speak on some of the 2-sport and 3-sport athletes that you've had? Because I know some that have come through there, and been great athletes. Can you speak on that a little bit?
yeah. I guess early on in my coaching, I started to talk to a lot of college coaches at the next level. And I,
Mm-hmm.
built a real good, relationship with, a lot of the local teams, Morgan,
Yeah.
Salisbury, stuff like that. And a lot of them would always say that they would rather have athletes that were good in multiple sports versus getting an athlete that's only played, one sport.
Mm-hmm.
So that was part of the thing that I started, stressing to a lot of kids and a lot of parents. You got a lot, and a lot of times it's actually a lot of parents. You got a lot of parents that feel if my kid started in soccer and I invested this much money in soccer, then that's what they're gonna do. I done went out and bought a lacrosse stick and all this. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
paid all this money for AAU, and that's what they're
Uh-huh.
gonna do. But you're actually, punishing your kids. One, because I'm gonna say it like this: uh, track and field, for one, is the foundation to every sport. Every sport, the
Mm.
faster, the stronger, the quicker
Mm-hmm.
you are, is going to, benefit you. I don't care if you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about football, baseball, soccer,
True.
whatever. So, but soccer coaches, they can't teach you how to properly run. They can't teach
Right.
you how to properly jump. So if you only got them going through your soccer year round, year round, year round, they're not learning those other skills that will help
Yeah.
them, grow. You know, um, you talk about, again, you talk about basketball. Uh, and a lot of people get mad at me or look at me sideways when I say this, but the average basketball player cannot jump. you know Now listen to
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying. The average, if you 6 foot plus,
Mm-hmm.
you already up there. But if you
Right.
actually measure their vertical, they have no
Mm-hmm. It's
vertical.
not.
It's just
True.
that they
True.
tall, lanky, and are already up there. Now,
Mm-hmm.
flip side, I've had kids 5'6", 5'8", jumping, 6'5" backwards over a high jump bar. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if that basketball player came to me at 6'4", and I taught them how to jump, they're jumping out of the gym.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So when you
Yeah.
talk about, and we'll go to and I'll break it. I'll go even like this. If I was to ask you, in your opinion, who are the most successful athletes that went to college in recent years, who would you say?
In any sport or around here or
Around any sport.
any sport. I would probably it would definitely be the basketball guys. I would probably say. I know around here, and that's why I was kind of getting you. You've had, I know David Bailey and the Franklin kid from Notre Dame.
Right.
You've had some guys that's come through there and now I understand what you're saying now as far as the Wayman kid going to Wake Forest.
Right.
Yeah, you've had a lot of kids shot put. I think he did.
You talk about DeMonte Dodd, Jamion Franklin,
Yep.
David Bailey, and now Kendrick Wayman. All of them did track and field.
Wow. And I knew all of them but Dodd. I did not know Dodd did. That's awesome.
He did track and field at Queen Anne's County.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. What you're saying, it makes me mad because I wish now that I knew this back then. Now, real talk, because your point that you made was hit on when you said that if you're 6'3", 6'4", you're already about up there, but you're still not jumping as high as you could possibly jump. And I'll give you an example. I was that person. My NBA height's probably 6'4", but I'm probably more like 6'2.5", 6'3". But one thing I never did, and I always say I should have, I never worked on my hops, as we call them. Never worked on how to jump.
Right.
It was just one of those things where as I got older, I worked on my calves, my legs a little bit, but I didn't go and get the jump shoes, like you see people do or stuff like that. But like you saying, I could have came to you or to a track and field coach and could have helped me become a better athlete.
Right. You look at my kids, for instance. I'm 5'8", and like when I was in the military, we were over in Würzburg, Germany, and we had just got done playing basketball, and somebody dunked the ball, and all of us just started, everybody just started, dunking from there. So I'm standing and I'm dribbling, I take one step and I go up two-handed and dunk. So I was like, how he getting up there, how he's doing that? And somebody pointed and said, look at his effing calves,
Exactly.
But it's just, from track and field, the stuff we did, made us good jumpers and stuff. Now, like, since I've got, in the culture and stuff, my son and them, I would take an 8-pound medicine ball and they would start jumping, touching the net. Once they got that touching that net, I had them touching the backboard. Once they touched the backboard, I had them, touching the rim. Once they could take that 8-pound medicine ball and touch that rim with it, put a basketball in the hand, they can dunk all day.
Got you.
Like a lot of basketball players, they're not jumping vertically, they're jumping horizontally. If you see a lot of them go for their layups and stuff like that, and they carrying themselves out of bounds or whatever, it's because they jumping out, not up, and it's something that, again, it's one of the drills I used to do is the wall in the gym, a brick wall. I have them run towards that wall and jump, Once they got it, they were, when you first start off, they're always jumping into the wall because that's how they jump and that momentum is carrying them in the wall. Once they, run into that wall enough times, they start to understand, I need to go up, instead of out, So again, that's a lot of, it's so many, track can open your eyes. There's so many, techniques that's going to help you in every sport. And I'm not just saying track, but, if you got the best sport, there's another sport that can strengthen you.
That's an excellent point. And as I've gotten older, I'm learning that. I mentioned track and field, but I also was talking to my cousin. I was telling him even I was a basketball player, but even football, like hitting the weights earlier than I did, and things like that. And I would even think, because I was always a 1-foot jumper, and I would always think too, track and field would probably help me become probably a better 2-foot jumper as well. Is that yes or no, or that really depends on how you jump?
Different things we do, it would help that, but mostly all the things in track and field, you're going off 1 foot.
Oh, okay.
Again, like say when I talk about high jump, you have to take off of 1 foot. When you talk about long jump, triple jump, you're taking off of 1 foot.
Okay.
Pole vault, you're taking off for, 1 foot. Coming out of the blocks, your dominant foot is the one that you actually, push it off, on and everything like that. But the thing is not so much, see, a lot of, again, basketball players, they feel they have to jump off of one leg. If they're not on that one leg, they can't jump. Or they feel like it has to be that 2 legs, so that's what track would have helped. It don't matter what foot they hit on, they were gonna be able to still get that elevation, and push. You got so many. You always stress, on the balls of your feet, but the thing is, especially when it comes to jumping, if you got what you call dorsiflex and plantar flex. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but dorsiflex is, when your toes are pointed up.
Okay.
Plantar flex is, when your toes come down and make, contact. A lot of football players, basketball players, they're so flat-footed. So if you flat-footed, how are you jumping? But if you get that plantar flex where those toes is coming up, when it comes down, it automatically is pushing up. So, something like this, and then the front comes down, the back is automatically going to come up. So that automatically starts giving you, that spring. But if you like this, it's no, it takes more to get back up.
Got you. Let me ask you about and I tell you I'm fascinated by this. Real Sports Fan Podcast. We hear live with Robert Thomas, 7:44 p.m. another Monday night. Thanks for tuning in. Tag somebody, tell them come in and get into this good conversation. Let me ask you this, because I've got a daughter that she'll be 5 in November, and me and my wife always say that I don't know where she gets from, but even running now, she got good form. I mean, seriously, good form. So when you're teaching, is that like when we're talking about form, like the way to run, is that something that you teach when you talking about form, or talk to me a little bit just about running form and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's something you teach, because again, you got a lot of athletes who have never been taught to run, so they making it so much harder. A lot of football players, for instance, a lot of times their first step is to the right or to the left. It's never, straight
I see what you're saying.
When you talk about a football player coming out, they're wasting so much time going side to side before they running straight, and again, they losing, time, by going side to side. A lot of boys who have come to us to learn how to run the 40, we knock time off just by run straight and stop going right to left.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's true.
The first few steps, are right to left. Same thing we kind of use. Again, you gotta use your body, as a center line. If you talk about running and you're crossing your body's gonna automatically turn. So we got to teach that, you got to use that separation. You can't cross your center mass, because then that's, going to give you this, momentum here and stuff, So, again, use like hands to ears and pockets. You don't need your hand clear back here or, clear down here, ears and pocket. Get a lot of them, as far as knee lifting coming down, your knee come up, your knee need to go right back down underneath you. You don't need to be, leg way back, behind you.
Right.
Forward. So again, it's just nothing that they don't teach it in basketball. They don't teach it in football. So a lot of kids just don't know how, how to move. Right.
Wow. And see that, and that's so fascinating, man. That's so fascinating, because more people need to know this, because, like you said, I'm 35 years old. I've never, some of the stuff you said, I've never heard. I wish I knew, and I'm gonna pass it on. Me and some friends of mine, we're hopefully, once this COVID gets straight, we have an AAU program that we're bringing back up. Eastern Shore Athletic Organization is the AAU program that we were part of as kids, and we're kind of not reinventing it, but kind of bringing it back. And some of the training things and running things, I'm serious when I say I'm going to reach out to you and talk to you, because some of the things that we can do, we can kind of help each other. Because I do remember, as I'm saying this is kind of mine. I remember my 11th grade year, my coach that I had on last year, shout out to Coach Mike Butler, who came on last week. He had us outside one practice running the track.
Right.
And I was like, what in the world are we on this track for, man? I mean, it was still hot, and the track was long, and I couldn't understand. I was thinking my knees already bad. I was worried about my knees, but what you're saying now makes sense on why he had us out there, on the track.
No, I have a lot of problems, with coaches, and I tell a lot of coaches, you got to stop making conditioning a punishment. Conditioning is not a punishment.
I like that.
But from the time they start in youth sports, every time they do something wrong, you want to make them run. So then they look at running or conditioning as a bad thing. But you as a coach should know, if you're telling your kids that, to me, you have no interest in your kids going to the next level. Because going to the next level, they're going to need that conditioning.
No run.
And if they're not conditioned, I don't care how good they are. If they can't get up down the court, if they can't stay on the field because of their conditioning, then they're not going to be there. So stop using it as a punishment. If you an athlete who is true to that sport, if you want to get through to them and you want to punish them, set them down. Tell them to listen. If you really want to be out on that basketball court and that coach tells you to leave my gym, you're going to get humbled and you're going to come back. If you tell them to go run, they're going to, do the bare minimum and stuff, but you're not getting through to them because you still got them out there. And again, to me, I hate, I'm not a fan of line drills and suicides.
Talk about it. Talk about those suicides, man.
I think that is the most wasted thing there is. And because if you go to one of these high school games, you see kids doing that. Win in a game is somebody going to go touch a line and come back.
Yeah. Good point.
But if you look in games, some of the games, you'll see some of these kids run full speed down to the offensive end and do absolutely nothing. Run back on the defensive end and do absolutely nothing. But coach said, run full speed down here and full speed back, and I'm doing something. So that carried over to the game. If they running down on the offensive end, they gotta be able to shoot. They got to be able to rebound. If they on the defensive end, it's still stuff they got to do. So if I got my kid, my son Rodney, he played AAU for years with Bobby Guy,
Bobby's brother Richard coached me. Bobby's brother Richard coached me, and Bobby's good friends with my dad. Yeah,
me and Bobby good friends and stuff. All the Bobby's son Chris and my son Rodney. Manny and all them,
Manny,
all played together, and I would do that, with them, if I had them running down one end, I had boxes set up. I had stuff for them to do down there, because if you talk about basketball,
I see what you're saying.
Going down to that end, you got to be able to jump and get a rebound. If you coming back on this end, you got to be able to slide and defend people and stuff like that.
I like that.
Not making these kids run and touch a line, because that's not what they're going to do.
That.
It's just a waste of time, right? To have somebody running down, touching the line. What's that? It's not serving nothing, You're not giving them the conditioning, because in a game they're gonna have to do more than run down to their end. They got to go down there and have enough, be strong enough to jump, be strong enough, to do this stuff. So it's just a wasted, thing that's just been passed on and passed on and passed on and used as, a punishment, but it serves no purpose.
Man, that's good. And you know what? You just made another excellent point. Because I was thinking, like, if I like how you said, don't make it a punishment, for running. Because I take it like this. For instance, when I was a kid, you're right. If you do something, get on the line, you run, get on the line. So why would I want to then, when basketball season's over, go run track if I feel like that's a punishment? You see what I'm saying? If I feel like you're punishing me, why am I now go run track? So sometimes that's ingrained in our mind from another coach, and we don't even know it. But like you said, all that's going to do running track is help us for the next sport or for the next year.
Right. You know, you got to look. I had so many coaches, you know, like, I'm not going to put names out there, but wonder why the team in the, you know, can't play man-to-man or they can't, you know, press. Because during practice, you're standing at half court worried about what the team you're going to play, who they have, and you're not doing no running up down the court, you know. So how in a game can you expect them to be in shape enough to, you know, press or defend, and you don't work it, you know. You got it, but like I say, it's not Jamion. Jamion, when he went to Notre Dame, we do what we call plyos. On Fridays is plyos. Plyometrics is a big part of our program. And plyometrics is you're not going to want to get up out of bed Saturday morning. That's why we do it Friday. Because you got the weekend to recover. So plyos is running the stairs, you know, at the track. So Jamion first went to Notre Dame. Jamion texted me and said, I'll never complain about doing plyos again. He said we had to run every step in the stadium at Notre Dame. You know, but the next thing he said he did it and he finished because
of you, because of what you're doing.
What we did, you know. David Bailey and Jamion Franklin, their family, you know, and that's all, you know. Jamion, when my kids were playing Pop Warner football, my son Rodney. So Jamion was out to the field on his bike, and the football coach at the time, Jamion, because of his size, you know, they didn't have unlimited weight, so Jamion couldn't play. So the kids were doing something, and the football coach was like, y'all better do what I said, or y'all gonna be like that big boy standing over there on the fence and ain't gonna be able to play.
What?
That point there is when I made my mind up that
that you was gonna coach.
That I was gonna, you know, help him, whatever. Because one day he's big, you know, it's just that again, his size, you know, want to allow him to play. David Bailey again. David was been running track with me since he was 6 years old. We did Hershey track and field, you know, and I had David out there, you know, running then, you know, and I knew at that time that David, Jamion, and actually my son Rodney, who was a year older than them, I knew all of them had what it took to go to the next level in multiple sports, you know, because again, just what they were able to do as kids. I tell you, the Hershey track and field, I had my son Rodney Thomas, David Bailey, Zay Rochester, and a boy named Wyatt. And they were the only age group, you know, from this area. So they had, when we went across the bridge to compete, you know, for like the championship, they had to run against an older team. And they were, you know, scared. It was like, you know, you know, they wouldn't do that, nervous and stuff. I said, y'all got this. Yeah. They won it all. They beat everybody, you know, in that group. At that young age. I think they were like 6, 7 years old, you know, at that time. And I was like, hey, y'all have, you know, what it takes to, you know, be, you know, at the next level. Jamion, David, you know, over to my house all the time. And I'd be in the window watching them outside doing different things like, okay, you know, they can do this. They can do this. You know, they can do this, you know. And they just had that, you know, that talent, you know. So.
Wow. That makes sense because I mean, like you said, obviously with track and field, I've seen them both play basketball, obviously with football, and now I know. 'Cause I used to always say, I said, man, they doing something different down in North Carolina. I mean, because the talent that was coming out of there is still coming out of there, and with the football team, like you said, track. I know even some females that you've coached, helped coach, and have been very successful as well. Is there any difference in training a male versus female? Anything different that you wouldn't do with a female that you would do with a male? Might be a dumb question, but I was just curious.
No, it's not. Actually, my best female athletes have been ones that wanted to compete with the boys, in practice and stuff like that, to make them better. Now, and that's kind of why myself and Coach Whiteley got along, so well. Coach Whiteley rather with coach girls, than boys, and he had 2 daughters and a son. Me, I didn't really prefer, one over the other, but by me having 3 sons, I knew, how to deal, with the boys, more and everything. Yeah. The girls are, coaching girls or coaching boys both come with their, things. But, girls, you just got to say, girls' bodies change more than, boys and stuff. So you kind of got to anticipate, what a girl is doing maybe in 9th grade. She may not be able to do, later on, down the road or whatever. I mean, their bodies just go through more of a change than, with the boys' bodies and stuff too. But actually on the coaching stance, it's not really, nothing different. My daughter, for instance, my daughter's the youngest, like I say, out of 4. And my daughter is 5'3", 5'4". She's led in rebounding for North High 1 year. And I think it's been number 2 for rebounding the other 2 years. I have so many coaches come up to me after the game and stuff. It's like, how can she jump? Like, my daughter, like I say, she just scored 1,000 points. Yeah. I'd be safe to say, out of those 1,000 points, I'd say 950 of them are in the paint.
I believe it. Yeah.
She, is just starting to get a mid-range shot, a jumper, but her jumping ability and her speed is what has put her, in that category, to get forward. And again, it's being around, me coaching her brothers and just her brothers, being on her and stuff like that. So it's no different coaching a girl. I didn't coach my daughter no different than I coached my, sons. The same things that, she seen me do with them is the same things, I was doing, with her and everything. So it's no different, So
awesome. Look, I got one more track and field question. We're gonna leave. I know. I'm serious. I'm fascinated with this, and also, I'm gonna, as my daughter gets older, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you because I'm serious. I'm gonna need your help. I need what to add you because you give me some ideas in my head that I gotta, had to write down on paper. Get these 2 track and field sports, the shot put and cross country. God, it just seemed hard to me. Let me know. Like, I guess the question is, like, I guess with the shot put, I never realized like how either strong or the technique with throwing it. And then obviously I know with cross country, it's all about endurance. I mean, I see kids out here, that's practice. They just, they're running around. And I know it's not about, how fast you are, but it's more about the endurance. Could you just talk on those two sports, and then we'll move on after that?
Shot put and disc. I have a friend, there's two people outside of myself that I have the utmost respect for, and their knowledge in the sport of track and field. And one is the one I was talking about, Glenn Whiteley, and the other one is Tad Holloway. Now, if you ask me, anybody came up to me and asked me who should they get to train their kids in any sport, it would be one of us three, because I feel we the best one. Tad was a strength and conditioning coach at Morgan for years. He has his own gym. He's probably one of the best, I've ever seen in what he does. He's actually the one that partners with me in, Shores Elite, and everything. He's one of the ones that started me. And again, Glenn has so many years of experience with, track and field and even running at his age. Now, and to answer your question, Tad is the shot put, and discus, coach and everything. And shot put actually is not all totally strength, because if you get out there trying to throw it and muscle it all the time,
you're going to mess something up, ain't you?
You're going to mess yourself up. You're going to hurt yourself. It's a lot of technique, that goes with that. So it's more of the fundamental. And the way we run our program, especially with track and field, we don't have a ranking or a standard. So we're not that team that comes out at the first meet and try to win everything, because it's not going to make no difference either way. We run our programs that they're starting to peak around the Bayside, regional, and states. A lot of programs, they starting to get injuries during that time because they've been pushing their kids, so hard.
It's a build up. So you're saying you got to build up to that. I got you. Okay.
So for shot put, Tad, uses a technique where you call the glide. You start up like you got a circle that you throw from. So you kind of, in simple terms, you start up at the top and you kind of like glide back to get that momentum, to throw. But early in the season, Tad just has them throwing from like the power stance, which you just standing there and, you're throwing it and stuff like that. So he moves them to the glide technique. It's just not something that he starts.
You just start with right, yeah.
And I give him hands down. Like to this day, I have 16 state titles. Athletes that have won state titles.
Congrats.
Oh, thank you. But like I say again, it's not. I don't put it all on me. I asked Tad to come with me. Like shot put and disc, that's that's his specialty. So and you're only as good as the coaches and the people you put around.
That's true. That's true.
And he hands down, has shot put and disc, to so he's helped me, get those titles and everything. And then you asked about cross country.
Yeah.
Cross country is running in a hole is mental. But when you talk about long distance, it's truly mental, because, the focus that it takes to keep your head into the race, one thing, is your biggest thing. It's not so much we teach them your biggest competition has to be in here. It's
that's true. That's true.
You at the time, don't worry about the other athletes around you, focus on yourself. Now, cross country is, again, it's through mud, it's up hills, it's, trees, it's, it's everything. So, again, like cross country practice, we probably running 7 to 15, 16 miles a day. The actual cross country race, 5K, is 3 miles, right. But, a lot of things we do is what we do. We overtrain. you know, and if it's a
Yeah, that makes sense.
right, and they running, 100, they training at 150 to 200 meters, to make them stronger and have more endurance for, that 100. And it's the same thing with cross country. We overstrain. The biggest thing for them is to get that mileage and running. So when you just talk about the 3K, or 5K, then they're used to running more than that. The biggest problem for us here on the Eastern Shore is we have no hills. Now, when we go to the state competition, you got hills so steep that they actually put mattresses around the trees because the kids are coming down the hill so fast that they were smacking into the trees. So to help to prevent injury, you got mattresses. You can't simulate those hills,
Yeah.
So that's our biggest thing as far as when it comes to cross country and everything. But in saying that, we have put out some good, athletes,
Yes, y'all have. Yes, yeah.
One going to college now, just left a few weeks ago, Will Christoffel, he's running, cross country. I expect him, to be real good. I mean, we've been blessed with a lot of success. I got two now. Last year was their first year in college. Emily Lewis and Janai Roberts. Both of them didn't get to do nothing but indoor season because, again, of COVID. But just just in their indoor season, first year of college, they both have broken school records. Kendron is ranked number 8 in the nation. Emily was rookie of the year. Both of them were rookie of the year. And this is just their freshman year, just half a season indoor. So yeah, we've been again. It's been a good run. You figure, for instance, the boys this year, they would have been competing for their 6th straight Bayside title. So you think for the past 5 years, they've won, Baysides. And again, and this is what I talk about, with track and field, because if you were to walk in North Carolina gym, you wouldn't know that. There's nowhere in North Carolina gym when you walk in there that you would know we had 20 plus,
state best banners or whatever.
You don't know that we have won 5 straight, Bayside, titles. You wouldn't know, but you talk about basketball, you know who your 1,000-point scorers are.
It's right there. It's right there. Yeah.
And that's a big accomplishment. And I'm not taking away, from anybody, who's doing that. But it's also a big accomplishment to be a state champion.
Yes,
you get
is.
your 1,000 points, your name is going up there, in a couple of weeks.
State champions are bigger.
Yeah, you get your state title, which truthfully is a bigger, like you say.
It's bigger.
It's nothing, nowhere. You can't see that, nowhere.
And see, that's what we. Sorry, not to cut you off, but that's what we need to, with more platforms like this, and then other stuff that hopefully we can do in the future, is get that out there. Because you're right, and that's my biggest thing is that, like you said, if it was, let's take basketball for instance, if someone was going into their 6th straight year of Bayside titles, it would be everywhere.
Right.
The Star Democrat, whatever paper you got over there, the Daily Times. I mean, it'd be on the news. I mean, you would know about it. You would hear about it. But like you said, track and field, unless you're a part of it or unless you're in that school, because like when I was in high school, I remember going to track and field meets, and it was fun. I remember going to stuff like that. But as far as how good they were, and how you never know that. So I guess the conversation needs to be now, how do we push that to the forefront? Because like you said, and I guess we can kind of transition a little bit, you've had issues, am I right, finding places to run, places to train and stuff like that. Can you go a little further with the difficulty you've had and just that?
Again, let's look at basketball, let's look at football, let's look at lacrosse, let's look at soccer. You can go about anywhere and find a basketball court, a
Yep.
baseball field,
Hmm.
a soccer field, lacrosse.
Football. Hmm.
Yeah, so these kids coming home from college or in high school or middle school, whatever, and just want to go out and practice on the tennis court, practice on the baseball field. They have that opportunity. With the running community, the tracks are locked at the high schools, and there's no public place in the community for them to run. So you have a lot of people say, oh, it's just running. That track has lines on it for a reason. It has
Oh
markings on
yeah.
it for a reason. You
Right.
can't go, and be proficient in basketball if you don't have no basketball, goal,
Exactly.
hoop.
You
If
can't
you don't,
treat it as just running. Yeah.
right,
Hmm.
and so it's a big problem. And again, if you look at the fact, truthfully, across the Baysides, again, you have more track and field athletes going to college on D1 scholarships than any other sport. But again, you don't know that because it's not put out there.
Wow.
You have more
Say
state.
say 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 that say that again so they can hear you. Say that again.
You have more track and field athletes going to school every year on D1
Hmm.
scholarships than
Yep. Yep.
any other
Yep.
sport.
And that's point, huh? Yep.
You have more state champions here on the in the Baysides than any other sport. Than wrestling, than anything. You have more state titles. You
Mm.
think of, I'm not, what is it, probably 40 2A schools, probably
Hmm.
close to 40 something
Something like
2A
that. Yeah.
state of Maryland. North High came in third last year
Wow.
in the state,
Wow. And the
but you
whole state.
wouldn't know
Wow.
that. But you wouldn't
Wouldn't
know
know it. I wouldn't know it. Yeah. Yeah.
that.
Man,
So,
that's dang.
and that's the thing. Me as a coach, I've had good success. And again, I know if I was doing any other sport, I'd be considered one of the, best coaches, ever. But it's not about me. That doesn't bother me as much as the athletes that put in the work that don't get the
Hmm.
recognition. I tell you another thing, and I know, we got to move on.
No, you
Why?
good. You good.
Why every year my seniors, well, not just my seniors, but it affects my seniors more, have to make a choice. Do they go to the state meet or do they go to graduation? Do they go to the regional meet or do they go to the prom? They don't care that much about the sport that they schedule graduation on their state meet. They
Yeah, I did not know
schedule
that.
they schedule the prom, on their regional meet. Now, Memorial Weekend every year is been
Hmm.
states. That Thursday
Hmm.
and that Saturday. It's been like that ever since I was, running. But you can make a schedule up to where you move graduation where it doesn't
Right.
interfere. So I've had athletes miss graduation because they are competing in their, you
They
know,
competing.
the
Hmm.
state meet. And those kids
Wow.
shouldn't go through that. With the
No, it
work
shouldn't.
they put
Shouldn't.
in and the success they have, why do they have to make that choice?
Yeah. Yeah, because no other sport you would have to make that type of choice, and kids shouldn't have to. When you're talking about prom and graduation, especially prom if it's your last prom, graduation obviously you're graduating, and you tell me I got to make a decision between walking across the stage or my state
Yep.
meet, which both are equal. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy,
And I'm
man.
gonna tell you
That's crazy.
this year, for instance, the track and field kids have the highest GPAs out of all the sports.
Wow.
Number. Now you talk about this year, for instance, if we had a graduation, the top 4 kids that were competing for valedictorian all were track and field. So you got kids at an academic level, high academic level, a high sports level, and you cut them out of graduation, and you cut them out of their prom, and you cut them out of all this. Why? And then that is just added on to they can't go into that gym and see their names, in there, nowhere,
That's
So
crazy,
it's a sport that is, and like Jamion, always says that he had a lot of success at football, at North High. He said, but what means the most to him is the individual titles that he got in track and field, So I mean, but what he did in football, is put out there, everybody knows it, knowledge and everything. And you have the school, you have administration, you have everybody there. When they were playing for the state title, the principal, the vice principal, and, everybody was there. For Jamion's state winning the gold in track and field, was not one administrator there. It was, nobody from that school there, to cheer him on or represent him. Was told, well, it's just too far to go. You drove over here for the basketball.
Yeah, come on now. Yeah, come on now. Yeah.
It's funny, and like say, I stay in trouble, so this ain't nothing else but more that's gonna get me in trouble. But, when it comes to them getting the awards at the Board of Ed, they standing right there, proud.
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad because it should be, like you said, we have sports, for the love of it, but that don't mean you don't want to be recognized. And especially when you should be recognized for such a, talking about a state title, state awards. That's major. That's major. I do want to thank everybody so far for listening. I got some comments here. Miss Christina Robinson, she was saying that she thinks that track is amazing because for her son, yes, he competed against others. However, he was also challenged to push himself to be his last best time and to be his last vote. So she was just talking about how,
Yeah, see, that's a big thing, and that's what I think hurts a lot of team sports. And like what Christine's talking about, track and field, we have what we call PRs, personal record. So each person, each meet, they're trying to beat that record that they had before. So it's not really about, all the time beating everybody, but it's beating yourself, beating what you did last. I had a young man that graduated this year, Logan, ran across country. He was, he was my slowest boy that I had, running. And he was one of the slowest ones, in the meets. So we went in Kent County and he finished and he said, Coach Rob, what's my time? And I told him what his time is. This boy had tears in his eyes, jumped up and down and clapped.
Wow. Yeah.
He beat his PR. It wasn't about the place he came in, but he set a goal for himself as an individual that he beat. So that, track and field, again, if you haven't been around the sport, it's like no other, in building confidence and building, young men and women. I just had one last year, graduated from the Naval Academy. I had 3 right now that are, one, including my son, are linguists in the military, with top secret clearance, defending, the country. And if you talk to any of them, it's what track taught them, and everything else is easy to them. It's just they're over, able to, do anything, that's for how they feel, So,
yeah. Man, that's because I guess a lot, and I know I say we keep moving on, but it's fascinating because I guess a lot of times we only watch track and field, the Olympics and stuff like that. Obviously, we know the Usain Bolts and we remember the Jackie Jordan Kerseys and stuff like that. But like you said, on the local level, like you said, there's so much talent here, and like you said, we don't know, and sometimes and like I said, not necessarily because of us, but the schools aren't recognizing,
Right,
these things either. So
right.
it's just fast. I do got one more. I'm gonna slip in one more a personal question before I ask about Shores Elite. Outdoor and indoor track. Is there a difference as far as the stress on your knees for something? I'm always a person. I used to always say I don't want to run outside the track because I always say bad knees gonna mess my knees up. Is that true, or is there a difference with indoor and outdoor as far as the surface?
Um, Now, no. Now, when I ran indoor track was at they had the Wacomico Youth Civic Center is where we ran.
Mm-hmm.
So we were running
Mm-hmm.
basically on a gym type floor, and we would run over to DC. They got an army over there. And
Yeah.
it's a cement floor. Today, the same material that the outside tracks are made of, the indoor tracks are
Mm-hmm.
made of. The biggest
Oh, okay. Okay.
the biggest problem with indoor track is the practice, because a lot of times we practice in the hallways of the school. So that's where the shin splints and you get the injuries to your athletes just running on that hard surface, during practice and stuff. The biggest difference with and so you got to understand again, let me tell you about indoor.
Mm-hmm.
Indoor is down at Snow Hill. So every Wednesday,
Yeah.
every Bayside school runs down Snow Hill. We leave the school at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm lucky if I'm back by 10 o'clock that night.
I never knew that. I know every Wednesday. Why? Snow Hill is a hall, man. I've
Right.
played at Snow Hill before. It's a hall.
This is something else to add to those athletes. Your coach last week, he was saying how hard it was to do three sports. Now I'm gonna tell you my breakdown. I
Mm-hmm.
do cross country track.
Mm-hmm.
I leave cross country track. I was going to my daughter's volleyball, practice.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you figure during volleyball season, Tuesdays I'm at a volleyball game. Wednesday I'm doing a cross country meet. Thursday I'm at
Yeah.
another volleyball game.
Yeah. Yeah.
We move over to basketball season and indoor track season. I'm an assistant coach for the girls basketball team for basketball. So Monday
Gotcha.
I'm doing practice. So every day I'm doing practice till 5. Then I'm going to basketball practice till 7. Again, on
Mm-hmm.
Tuesdays I'm basketball games. Wednesday I'm
Mm-hmm.
down Snow Hill all that time. And then
Thursday, another game.
it's a basketball game. And then you go into outdoor track. So yeah, by the time outdoor
Time the
track is
weekend come,
over,
man. You.
yeah, it's like you don't have nothing. You don't have nothing
Yeah,
left.
man.
When he said that last week, I started laughing because I was like, yeah, if you're a coach for 3, sports,
Yeah,
and then like say plus your kids playing different sports and you support
that's
them.
right. That's right. You gotta go
Yeah,
see. Yep. Yep. Yep.
yeah, it's not enough
Yep.
hours in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I bet, man. That's awesome, man. Real Sports Fan Podcast here with Robert Thomas, man. If you've been missing the conversation, make sure you check it out in its entirety, man. It's been awesome. Talk to me, Robert, about I'm gonna get you out of here in a few.
Oh, you fine?
Talk to me about how you started Shores Elite Track and Field. What went into you starting that and how you started? Just tell us a little bit about that.
Again, the biggest problem that all of us coaches have here on the shore is that we don't have a feeder program. So we don't get to start teaching these kids track and field until 9th grade. And again, a lot of us have had, a lot of, success, but we could have more success if we could start teaching these kids, at a younger age. Because when we get across that bridge, compete against those schools over there, those kids have been running track and field since they were, young. So, it was something that we've been talked about and threw around for years, but, I finally decided to go ahead and make that move. And I think a lot of problems with, AAU, especially in this area, is you got kids going back and forth. You got this coach, putting down that coach, and you got the AAU coaches competing against the high school coaches, and one saying, this is ruining the kids, and the other one saying, you know, this is ruining the kids. So it's a big thing between AAU, you know, when it comes to, you know, especially basketball. Now with Shores Elite, again, by me, I think being a long-time track and field coach, I have a good relationship and a good rapport with a lot of, you know, pretty much all the coaches on the base. You know, I can't say there's one coach, you know, that I don't, you know, get along with. So, you know, I went to them and I said, look, I'm getting ready to start a program. I said, I'm not trying to, you know, influence your kids. I'm not trying to do this. And, you know, same thing I just said, I just think we need a feeder program. These kids get to compete, you know, at a higher level. So the support that I've had from the high school track and field coaches is, you know, great. You know, I mean, I got kids from Cat Island all the way to Snow Hill, you know, that run. And if COVID didn't hit, you know, we probably would be on a whole different level, you know, right now, because I have kids and parents calling me, you know, like crazy, wanting to get their kids, you know, into, you know, the program. And everything.
Into the program. Yeah.
Right. I think once COVID, you know, gives us a break, that Shores Elite is really going to take off. And I think it's going to be, and I'm going to back up a little bit. One of the reasons that I didn't start was the feedback that I got from a lot of other coaches. The soccer coaches and the lacrosse coaches and the football coaches and all them have a problem with us starting a track program because they know it's going to take from their numbers. You know, you have a lot of these kids that are playing these sports not because they really good at it, as much as they've been doing it since they were little, you know.
Talk about it. Yep. You
got a lot of kids that are good in their particular sport because of their speed. So why would they continue to, but are average in it? You got soccer players running 4-minute miles and average soccer players.
Yep.
If I bring that kid to the track and they running 4-minute miles, they get scholarships, you know.
Yep.
But they're not nothing in soccer. So yeah, track in a whole in this area is not the biggest sport because it hasn't been advertised. But across the country, if you get athletes in the track and field, it is going to take numbers from other sports because a lot of these it's more opportunities. There's 18 events in track and field. I can find an event for everybody. You see what I mean? You know, so you can I tell kids all the time, why you want to do a sport and set on the bench when you can come and do a sport that, you know, I was you know, I did track and field not because I couldn't do any other sport. I did track and field when I was in school because I was above average. You got a lot of these kids now to settle to, I'm on the team, I can wear the jersey, but I ride the bench. You know, I'm not getting no play.
I don't understand that. Like, why? Right.
You know, so I had two boys a few years ago, Alex and Tyler Harmon, two twins, came out their senior year to do track and field. Never really knew nothing about track and field. Those two went on to be outstanding. They got scholarships to run track in college and set records. Wow. If they had been running track their whole 4 years or younger, those two would be, you know.
It would have took off. Like, that's crazy. So their senior year, they come to their senior year and still was able to get scholarship. Man, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
I have a young man. His name is Tip Warp. He graduated. Maybe 5-6 years ago, maybe more. He missed qualifying for the Olympics by milliseconds.
Ooh, you know? Man,
that's how good this kid was in running. But again, you'll never hear that name because
never hear that.
You know, the accomplishments that these kids have made in track and field, if it was any other sport, they would be front, you know,
front and center.
Front and
front and center, and to your point, even me when I was doing research and stuff like that, like I do for every show, like you said, it's easy to find basketball articles, football articles,
right.
track and field, like you said, very very slim, very skimp, So I mean, your point is very important.
And here's something I'm gonna add. So you figure basketball and football, pretty much every game is covered by the media.
Pretty much, yeah.
Let's talk about indoor track. You have every single Bayside school in one location, and you can't send nobody down there to cover it. You don't have to
Not
go
one.
here.
Right. It's on one general location.
Location, and you see everybody.
Yeah.
And you won't look at now Trevor, I give Trevor some props. Trevor has, he comes out.
Oh yeah.
Right. He's been, he's made a difference, but you don't see track and field highlights, like you see.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And you can go to one spot and see everybody.
And see everybody. And to your point, excuse me. And to your point, like, go back for a second, because you were even talking about how, like you said, you talked about the football players he had, the basketball players he had. Like you talked about when you talked about speed, the NFL Combine, for instance. What did they always track and want to know? The 40 time, right? They always want to know, like you said, how fast. Me and my friends, quick story, the other day we were just talking about John Ross, wide receiver, got drafted by the Bengals. Only reason he got drafted is how he did a couple years ago. I think it was 7th overall, because of his speed. He didn't have a good year last year because he was fast. He did a Marquise Goodwin. He's another one that he's an actual track star too, Marquise Goodwin. But it's the same thing.
If you do your research and you look at professional NFL players and basketball players, you will find that a large amount of them, especially your corners, your receivers, running backs,
they ran track.
All have track and field. But
they did.
If you listen to your high school football coach, what they tell you, weight room.
Yeah.
That's not what it is being.
Yeah, that's not where it's at. Yeah. That's a great point.
North High has had a lot of success, and if you listen to the program, he's been doing the same thing for years and years and years. So somebody asked him one time, why now are you having the success? Well, I've been doing the same thing for years. So then, but if you ask your question, you had Anton Black, which we didn't get into Anton Black tonight. But
I want to, if we got time, a little bit. Yeah.
Right, but if you talk about Anton Black, you talk about David Bell, you talk about Rodney Thomas, you talk about Kendron Wayman. The difference in his program in the years that he's been winning is the track athletes that he has had on the team. The difference of the team has track athletes. So you want to know the difference between your success now and why you weren't having the success years ago is because of the speed you got on.
And now it's funny how God works, because I'm telling you, like I told you before, me and my wife used to have a conversation all the time. I said, what is North High doing different than everybody else? I'm sure we used to have that conversation. It's got to, because like you said, it wasn't all of a sudden like, it wasn't years and years and years. No, you know what I mean? So like these last 10 years, the talent's coming out, and now it makes sense. Everything you said has been hit on, has been hit on. Talk about, I was saving, I do want to talk about Anton Black, because I know you were part of the coalition forum, and also you coached them. So I did want to get in that at the end, but could you speak on the awesome young man, and like you said, the misfortune of what happened, and just talk a little bit about it.
Well, again, Anton Black, he was probably one of the, the best athletes I had when it came to, track and field. A lot of respect for the young man. Anton was no different than a lot of the other kids I coached. He had stuff, going on. And, I can't tell, so when all this happened and he was made out to be, somebody that was in this trouble, man, I can give you list of kids that were into more stuff than, what he was into. running, we runners, a lot of time us running is to clear our head. That's
Thank
what
you.
we
Thank
do.
you.
That's what we do,
Yep.
to find
Thank
our
you.
peace,
Mm-hmm.
So that it's almost like a reflex, now.
Yeah.
Anton ran. What do people do when they scared? One, what
We
do
run.
people do? Like I say, and they run when they're scared, but then on top of that, you're talking about somebody who used running as his coping mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yep.
So, that's what he did. He ran home where to his mom,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's no reason to lose your life.
Not at all. Not at all. Nope.
And to piggyback on that, I am glad to see the direction that the country is attempting to go into. And I'm glad to see, ones getting out there protesting and being active. But, me and you had talked a little bit before when we talk about, the Queen Anne superintendent that
Dr. King.
Dr. Kane that's they're trying to get rid of and stuff like that. But a lot of people came out and protested for Floyd. But when it came to Anton right here,
Great point.
And Dr. Kane right here, where are you at?
Great point. I remember your Facebook post about it. I don't know if you remember our comment about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have problems. So are you doing it because you truly believe, or are you doing it because you just want to follow, the crowd? Because if you're not active every day in what's going on, then, I'm glad you're out there getting involved. But we couldn't get nobody to show up and protest.
Yeah.
Anton lost his life. Dr. Kane, it wasn't the turnout that needed to be out there.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
So
no, I was there. Yeah.
Right. And like I said, I love sports, don't get me wrong. But if I was to put a post on and say, meet at such and such for a game. It's
packed. A game, a party, handing out free food, stuff like that. Oh, yeah. You're going to get it.
We got to get more organized. We got to know what's going on in our community. I again, I'm not knocking, anybody, but there's problems going on,
Yeah.
It is, what it is, and we have to be a voice. And me and you had also talked about, for instance, the Fireflies. You point out the fact, that's what we meant. Well, when we established the Fireflies, it was that we wanted to, reach out to youth and young adult, and create opportunities, and stuff for them. So when we first started the Fireflies off, Jason Edwards, is the owner of Edwards All-Star Barbershop in Denton. He put a post out, saying, hey, anybody interested in making some changes in the community, come to my shop and, let's talk. So myself, Jason's mom, Doncel Wilson, who is, my cousin, and
great woman in the community.
Yeah.
Jermichael Mitchell is another person I know. Jermichael for 25 years. Yeah.
Right. Now the thing with so we came up with the Fireflies. So Doncel was the and again, just go back a little bit more. Like, so me and Doncel are first cousins. Our mothers are, sisters. So
awesome.
My family is the point that this is the kind of stuff we talked about at family. I love my family because, we all are the same mind. We active in the community. We want to make, different, stuff like that. Yeah. So, came up with the Fireflies. Trayvon Martin, was big in the news and things like that. Me having 3 sons, Jason having, sons, Doncel having sons, a lot of people involved, So we came up with the 100 Men of Distinction. So with the 100 Men of Distinction was we wanted to recognize 100 Black men in the community and show that we're more than we're portrayed on TV. That single fathers, that were
Yep.
educators, that were law enforcement officers, that, we're a lot more, but we don't get that,
Mm-hmm.
recognition. We only get the
Mm-hmm.
recognition of when we're doing something, bad.
That's
So,
it. Yep.
and then you talk about men in a whole, us as, Black men, we have a problem with our mental health. We always suck it up and tough it up without talking about it. And we don't
Man,
we don't never recognize each other. So this was another opportunity to show, hey, we know what you're strong because we gone through it too. So let's, get together. Let's, women recognize each other all the time. It wasn't
all the
knocking,
time.
it wasn't knocking, our sisters and
Right.
everything.
Right. Not at all. But we needed something for us.
Right, the men was
Mm-hmm.
not getting recognition for stuff they, were doing. So that's when we, came up with that, and it was wonderful. It was, man, something that, we didn't really put a dress code on it or anything because we didn't want people to feel like they couldn't come because of the way, they had to go out and buy something or whatever.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it was so amazing the way we represented,
Yes. Yes.
we came out grown and sexy.
Yes. Yes.
No
it was
problem
nice.
with our chest stuff out.
Nope. Yep.
Of what was going on. So from that, we did 100 Kids on the Move. Now, for the 100 Kids on the Move, we recognize, just kids, period, black, white, girls, boys, because kids is where we got to grow from, So
and that's where we got started. That's right.
If we educate the kids, then when they get older or whatever, we more of a community and stuff like that.
Yep.
Then what your wife was honored for, the 100 Ladies and Elegance, was something else.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Now, when you talk about networking, through those events, we met Jamichael Mitchell out of Salisbury and Chucky Smiley out of Salisbury. They have a group called the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah.
Also, we met Paul Tu, who is one of the founders from the Bayside Warriors. Wonderful. I mean, they have become my brothers. I mean, good people. But through the Fireflies event, we met them. So we started partnering with them, and we come up, when we do things all together, we call ourselves the Key Foundation. When all three of our come together. So with the Key Foundation, we've continued, all of us already had stuff going on. We just brought more resources in doing it together. So when we do the 100 Men of Elegance, the 100 Men of Distinction or the 100 Women of Elegance, they partner, with us and bring their resources in to make it, real good.
Got you.
The Michael and them out of Salisbury, they were doing a mentoring program. So every year since then, we grab kids from all across the shore, and we have did it at Whitesnake College, we did it at Salisbury, we did it at UMES, where we take the kids. We started off on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We had such good feedback that the kids, well, this is all boys, that the parents were asking us if we can do it longer. So we did it last year. We did it, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we have speakers come in, as well as we all have different topics that we talk about, with these, young men and everything. And to be truthful, we give it to them raw. I mean, we don't cut.
Raw, not cut, no chasing.
So there's anger, there's tears, there's hugs, understand.
That's good, man.
A lot of them don't get the have that male figure. So we being, myself, Paul, Jamichael, Chucky are strong-minded men, so we, we're not there to cuddle you and baby. We're there to tell you, own up to, what you're doing, so right. We also do a college tour. Usually the CIAA for the last 3 years, we've taken a group of kids down there. And they get that college experience, and They get that atmosphere of, what goes on down there. And actually, supposed to be here in Baltimore now. So that makes it
I was
really
gonna say my wife works in Baltimore with the Reginald Lewis Museum, and they're a big
right.
part of it. Supposed to be part of yeah.
Right. So again, through coaching and through, being active, in the community and stuff, it's just, you got to network. So that was the point of
Man,
like
it's awesome.
shit and things like that to, show everybody that, hey, this individual is doing this. So let's partner, if we do some stuff together, we can, reach more people and everything. So it's been a big success. And I mean, I can't tell you some of the stuff that we got coming up, but real shortly there's gonna be some stuff we take it to the next level, and
Next level.
it all because of that, networking and stuff. And again, when Don Sell, Paul, Chucky, Jermichael, all of us, sat down and got to know, one another and everything. It was just like, man, we all think alike. So,
let's work together.
So, and I was like, and that's another, thing that how Dr. K got it. Paul was actually, he's the one of the main ones that started, the program.
Yep.
So this group that came after Dr. Kane, went at him,
Went at him.
Right. So, and again, if you know him, we are proud, strong Black men. That's our heritage. That us being strong Black men does not make us, but if you know us, we extend our arms to everybody.
That's right.
So to try to portray him as militant,
as I was going to say, as a thug, as a militant, something like that. Because I looked at it and listened. Yep.
Yeah, that's not character.
Not at all. Not at all. And you know what? And again, I wanna thank you, man, because again, like I talked about giving your flowers. I know you don't do it for this reason, but I want to give you your flowers, and I want to applaud everybody because, man, the stuff you just named that you're doing in the community, man, is awesome. You didn't just name one thing, but you went through a bunch of things, man, and it's important, especially the time we're living in. Especially, like you said, we've got white people trying to tell us who have lived on the shore, born on the shore, there's no racism on the Eastern Shore, which is it's straight blasphemy. It's straight ridiculous. You know what I mean? So yeah, talk about that.
Well, I grew up in Queen Anne's. Now, from the watermen on Cat Island, on one end of the county, to the farmers on the other end of the county, to Graysonville, to Pondtown, to Barkley, we all went together. Queen Anne's County was a 4A school when we were in school. So you had all these individuals from different backgrounds and different race who talked about it. Jermichael always says, let's talk about it. So, that's what Queen Anne's always did. Queen Anne's, we had issues, but man, we were a strong, united community because we talked about those issues. So now you got somebody who's not even from this area.
Not even from the area, not even from the country, man. I'll talk about it. Not even from the country. I mean,
who doesn't know the history.
Not at all.
Who has gathered a base of others who aren't even local from Cat Island, who don't know the history of Cat Island, who just came because they, got the money to buy a house on the water. But now you want to change everything. Don't come over here and tell us what it is to be an Eastern Shorean and what it is to go to the Queen Anne's when you don't even know it yourself. You can't speak on it because you don't know. You haven't lived it. Nope. We have lived it. Now, we understand the history of, the Eastern Shore, but we have survived and we have overcome that. You taking it back, talking about race is not the problem.
Not the problem.
Acting like it doesn't exist is where the problem comes in.
I was there. Thank you. That's what the problem is. And not to cut you off, but I know, as far as Talbot County, we have a Confederate statue we were trying to have removed, and they didn't want to remove that. 3-2 not to remove that. So, like you said, man, and the main people you go in there that are talking, like you said, they're not from here. They like you said, they bought a second home here, or they moved here, or something like that. They have no idea. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but the things that you guys are doing, I applaud these young kids that are putting these things together. Even the thing for Dr. King, the young kids putting stuff together. That's what we need. We need these things to keep coming together and be a voice. But like you said, the 18 to 40 black males, where are we? 18 to 40. Because if I go up the street, I'm gonna call y'all out. Y'all know me. I grew up right on Glenwood Avenue. So I come from that neighborhood, but we don't come out for stuff like that. But yet, if I go around, I'll see y'all there, or like you said, at a game, at a party. But for stuff like that, that's what we need. We had I've been some that we had white people and more white people out there than the black people.
Right.
And don't get it wrong, we need them. We need them. I'm not saying we don't need them, but where are we at? Where are we at? Yep.
And see, and that's why I have a problem, and that's why I get off into coaching, and everything else. Because if you are in that age group and you were at these kids to be on your team or, be on your track team or be there, whatever, then you need to be out in this community. Speaking. Because if you hide, what influence are you going to be on the next generation if you're not being active yourself?
Exactly.
Being coach is not just winning and losing. You're in a position to mold these kids.
Life lessons, yes.
Lessons.
Yes.
And if your life lesson is not to show up, how you expect them to show up for you on the court? How you expect them to show up for you on the field? If you're not showing up for them in the community.
If I know you don't got my back out here, then why am I going to think you got my back on the field? You good when I'm running for you or when I'm shooting the ball for you or catching whatever, but when I need you in the community, where are you at? I agree. Where are you at? Yeah, man. I tell you, man, this has been awesome, man. Awesome, man. Look, I could keep you another hour. We're gonna get off here. I tell you, man, you get me fired up a little bit, so I'm gonna get on off of here, man. But I tell you, man, look, man, Robert. No, go ahead.
I want to say one thing though. I'm gonna start something now too. Now, I've been listening to a lot of your podcasts. Where you talk about the great rivalries, Now, I want you to remember, because a lot of times you leaving out Queen Anne's, but
let me write it down. Look, I got my pen.
No, I'm just saying. Now, the thing about Queen Anne's, why it's not mentioned in a lot of these great rivalries, because a lot of times back in the 80s, Queen Anne's opted to go out of the Bayside. When we were 4A school, we went out of the Bayside because the Bayside wasn't competitive enough for us. We were kind of running through the Bayside.
That makes sense.
A lot of, was 2A and 1A, stuff like that. Now, when you talk about some of the great, athletes,
talk to me.
A lot of y'all don't know them because, like I said, we were playing against 4A schools across the bridge. I mean, we wasn't even coming on, this end and everything.
That's true. That's a great point because even Easton, we were 1A for a while until like 96, then we went to 2A. So y'all were already 4A in the 8. Wow. And you know what? You know what too? And no, you can beat me up because you know what? I get this at home. I told you my wife from Queen Anne's. She always tell me, like, when she knew you was coming to her, she said, "Yeah, you finally got someone from Queen Anne's County in there. I've been trying to get on there. You don't get no one from Queen Anne's County on there. So trust me, when she hears this, she'll be happy."
You had some good. I mean, you had some. Man, I mean, I'm gonna have to give you some list of names so you can reach out.
Like I said, we're gonna have to do that. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Please do. Please do.
You got some legends that went through, Queen Anne's too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like please do that because a lot of times I didn't know a lot of those guys.
If we get started on that now, we would be here for.
Hey, we're gonna do a part 2, man. We're gonna do a part 2 sometime. Hey, man, that's awesome, man. And thanks for that, man. Again, I tell you, man, this was It's all. Look, I told you I was gonna keep your eye. We've been on here almost too, man. But listen, man, I appreciate you. Again, y'all share this. When it comes out on YouTube, I'll make sure that I'll make sure I send you the link to that. Again, man, I want to say thank you for again, making us understand more about track and field. And hopefully after this, we can continue to try to build that up as it should be. And then all you're doing in the community, on the Eastern Shore, again, I salute you. And, man, I just appreciate you, man. Is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, good. I mean, I salute you, brother. I'm glad, you had me on and everything. Since I first saw your podcast, I don't miss it, so
Thanks,
every
man.
week, I make sure
Thanks.
I'm sitting there. If I'm driving, if I'm at work or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sitting there listening to you. I mean, like your dad, man, I can relate to your dad, so much, the military and being overseas and everything. And then some of the other coaches and stuff, you have had on and everything. I mean, you've been right on point and everything. So, I mean, I applaud you on the job you're doing and encourage you, to keep on. And like I said, we can do some stuff, so.
We can, man, yeah.
We got a lot of stuff coming up, and I know you got some stuff coming up. So, let's keep this.
We'll get together, link up. Yeah, right. For sure. That's what it's about, networking and coming together. Yep. And like you said, it's beautiful when people, especially Black people and Black men can come together, or Black women can come together, for the greater good, and one other thing you said, and when you were talking about even starting with at the kid level, because you know what, kids don't see race. Kids don't see black or white. That stuff is brought to them by the parents. So like you said, you guys starting even at that level, man, it's going to help the generations, man. And another thing I know y'all doing, is you keeping God first. And when we do that, that's the sky's the limit, man. The sky's the limit. So, hey, first and foremost, man. So you'll be hearing a lot from me, man, because I'm going to be picking your brain about stuff. I got your number. You got mine. If you need me, I'll be there for let me know. And if I need you, I'm definitely going to send you a message, man. So, again, I appreciate you.
Okay.
I appreciate you, man. All right, man. You be safe. Real Sports Fan Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Appreciate y'all. Have a good night. Peace.